Do you think, and you're in, I think, a very good position because, University of Cincinnati, you're affiliated with an organization that does, educate the population. Are we on a path to produce enough data professionals to meet this growth? Or what are you seeing, or are you able to share any numbers with us?
I don't have those numbers off the top of my head, but what I can say is that our university has a commitment to next now. And so we're not looking at what is today, but we're looking at what is next and how are we developing those professionals that are going to be tackling the challenges of the future, both here in Cincinnati and throughout the world. So I am humbled by our leadership and Dr. Pinto and his vision for how we're bringing forth students to be prepared for the next generation of talent that we're looking at. University of Cincinnati has a great innovation space, really forward thinking, where we're not only training the students, but we're thinking about how are we connecting them to industry. We are the birthplace of co-op. How are we making sure that folks get real world experience? So I think that we're in a unique position to really help that shortage by making sure that people are prepared for their colleges and having those relationships with industry so that we can get them into the next position.
Yeah, I think industry is very important. I was actually just on a call earlier today with one of my first Cincinnati employers that I interned with at Cincinnati. And it's coming full circle, but I think it's so important on those base skills that you can't teach in a class, but
Absolutely.
You get in the real world, right? One of the challenges I think that within technology, and it reminds me of some statistics with my friend in university and so forth, is the gender equality and diversity, right? Do you see and what do you see within the industry around overall diversity and general gender diversity within technology? Do you see us making strides around that?
I think the fact that we're talking about it means that we're making strides around it, but I think that there's still much work to be done. Certainly lots of programs that are working on gender equality and racial background equality, but we've got to get more folks into the queue that have the skills that can influence, because it's not only the right thing to do, but back to our prior conversation, bringing that unique thinking to the table of, are we really applying the right question to this problem? Have we identified the right problem? I think that whenever you have diversity in general, right, you're bringing diversity of thought as well. And that's critical as we advance into the next century for sure.
And I think with technology, I think we're well positioned to be able to broaden and increase the pace of education to whoever, wherever, by using technology, just like what you are doing with your team, enabling your team to work remote to still provide that function, right? So I do think if we can leverage technology, this can help us on this education gap and or else around data. Right?
Absolutely. My husband's from Boston. We can't afford to live in the house that he grew up in, even as two well-paid professionals. But living in the Midwest, we have a comfortable lifestyle. And now I'm in a position where I can work anywhere in the country or potentially the world. So I think the more that we embrace this, the more that we leverage the field of what salaries need to be in order for people to live comfortable lives and educate their children. So I agree with you completely. I hope that as we continue to evolve into a post-COVID world, employers are considering the idea of where they can find talent. We just opened a position on my team and had the best candidate pool I've ever had because we were considering it as a remote position. And so no longer are we faced with bringing someone in and teaching them the skills. We've got competition to get into our door with highly successful people with tons of applicable experience. And I don't care if they live in DC or if they live in Seattle, right? We can figure that sort of thing out. What I want is smart people that can come and think and try.